Really, I'm tired. I haven't slept for 2 days.
But the
and
thing
then
is,
I thought about it, and I thought about the free throw, and I thought, I might have something going on. I got the dropsies, but like for coffee.
GJ and Max, mornings on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
We don't have a real humid air mass in place, so actually it's manageable. Our 91 this afternoon, near record, or maybe a record with hazy sunshine around, at least a little bit of haze, but not like we had last week. A few clouds later tonight and warmer, 69, and a little more humidity tomorrow, though temperatures will come down to about 85. It'll still feel a little more humid with late-day showers and thunderstorms. Late-day storms Friday, 82. From the Weather Channel Race Station.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
iHeartRadio, let's go!
A weekend full of superstar performances, never seen before collaboration, and once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
Friday, September 23rd and Saturday the 24th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets now at AXS.com.
You should be watching the World Cup right now, but you're not. Want to know why? Well, it's an interesting story, a mix of true crime, political scandal, and slow simmering corruption. You'll hear all about it on our new podcast, The Lords of Soccer, How FIFA Stole the Beautiful Game. I'm Connor Powell. The 12-part series from iHeartRadio and Inside Voices is out now. Listen to The Lords of Soccer on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's the 35th annual Operation Blood Drive, Thursday, June 30th and Friday, July 1st. All presenting blood donors will get an Operation Blood Drive t-shirt plus a tote bag while supplies last. Visit redcrossblood.org and enter code OBD2022 to find a location near you.
We're in the most active season of the year right now, but if you have joint pain, you can't live like you want to. Hip pain, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain. It sucks the fun out of living. But I've got fantastic news. QC Kinetics is helping people here get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local medical professionals. Regenerative medicine is the hottest thing going. It's basically taking growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, and then putting them into your aching joints. This exciting in-office non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints, giving you real lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. They have over 100 clinics nationwide, including right here. Yes, you can get real relief from pain with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Stop putting it off. Call QC Kinetics now and get a totally free in-office consultation. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville. That's 828-333-9517.
Paid for by government.com.
Have you heard? The United States Mint has issued the Morgan Silver Dollar for the first time in 100 years. Not only that, but they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 175,000 legal tender silver dollars were issued. These Morgan Silver Dollars are brand new, bright and shiny legal tender coins minted by the iconic Philadelphia Mint. Just call 1-800-973-3098 and you are guaranteed a new 99.9% pure silver Morgan dollar. The first time in history this has happened. But with limited quantities, you must call now to order. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3098. If you order now, you will receive a free collector bonus, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3098 now to secure your new Morgan Silver Dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-3098.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Christine Lisi. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, testifying today before the House Committee on Oversight, said he has no authority to remove Dan Snyder as owner of the Washington Commanders amid ongoing scrutiny into that organization's workplace culture and accusations of pervasive sexual harassment by team executives of women employees. An NFL owner can only be removed by a 3/4 majority vote of fellow owners and don't expect that to happen anytime soon, points out ESPN's Dan Graziano.
I would think that, get these guys in an honest moment. They would tell you they don't want to live in a world where they could potentially be forced to sell their teams.
Yeah.
So they're reluctant to go down that road. So I think that's seen as a pretty dramatic step by the NFL owners, and they're not there yet.
Dan Graziano on Greene. Appears the Avalanche will get a major boost offensively for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight against the Lightning, 8 Eastern on ABC. Forward Nazem Kadri participated in the morning skate, his first team session since breaking his thumb nearly 3 weeks ago. He had 20 points in 13 postseason games before getting hurt. The Panthers hired Paul Maurice as their new head coach.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bonus. That's bonus. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com. And welcome into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy underway for this Wednesday afternoon. We've got football to talk about. It's all good.
Almost exclusively football to talk about.
The NBA as well. We'll do a little bit of a preview coming up in the 4 o'clock hour of the NBA draft, since we will not have a program tomorrow afternoon. Braves Day baseball will be heard here on ESPN Asheville. But for now.
But programming note, if you want to hear takes on the NBA draft, I will be trying out my new home studio, so you could hear me say just a slew of obscenities.
Very good. Yeah,
we have not tried this out yet.
Hey, that's one of the perks, though. It's one of the perks of subscribing to the YouTube channel. The extra content is what you're in it for. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get all the extra content, as well as being able to join us in the chat each and every day, right here in the Sportsocracy. Always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings, and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. So Gronk retired. We're going to talk about the question of the day. The 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day is, who retired too early? Who are you sad that you didn't get to see more of? Now, look, I don't know that I necessarily believe that Rob Gronkowski belongs in this category.
Well, he's still young.
I mean,
Yeah,
but he played 11 years. He had 2 major injuries that I was even surprised that he came back from. He won 4 Super Bowls, 3 with the New England Patriots, 1 with my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Would I rather have him on the roster this year going into 2022 than trying to go back to the Cameron Brate bucket? Not that Cameron Brate's an awful tight end. It's just when compared to Rob Gronkowski, the greatest tight end of all time. Come on. Are we going to fight about this?
Greatest tight end of all time.
Who's number one?
I mean, Tony Gonzalez would like to talk.
Stop that.
Okay. You just gleaned over that. Like, that's so ludicrous.
No, it's not ludicrous. I mean, Tony Gonzalez is 2.
And Shannon Sharp. Kellen Winslow. There are a good many names here.
Hey, I'm not saying they don't belong in the discussion of top 5. But greatest of all time? I think it's between Gronk and Tony Gonzalez, and I'll take Gronk.
Well, what's funny to me is this narrative of, well, Rob retired, but if Tom calls,
he will. If Tom calls him 4 weeks into the season and says, look, dude, Cameron ain't getting it done.
Well,
this
here's my question.
Kid, he's nice, but what? I mean, I need you.
Then here's my question. Why'd you do it in the first place? Why say anything? You don't want to go to training camp. Then don't go to training camp. Nobody cares.
He wouldn't have anyway.
No. He's 1,000. Yes, he is 33 now years old. Mm-hmm. But his body is somewhere between 85 and 107.
Where's the bell? Got one.
Double bell.
Where did we find the other bell? Where did that come from?
I don't know. I've been cleaning out the studio.
I just looked around and, hey, there it is.
I've been cleaning out the studio. I found all kinds of things.
Oh, good. So Rob Gronkowski, the question of the day sponsored by 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery. Who retired too early? We'll take your comments in the YouTube stream. Again, sportsocracy.com. Click on that subscribe button so you can get into the chat. Daniel Snyder, he has been subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee. He kept saying, I don't want to come testify. Well, okay.
Well, you're going to now.
Come testify or spend a year in jail. How would you like that?
These are your choices.
How you like that?
And as soon as that happened, Roger Goodell went, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I have no ability to remove him as the owner.
Right.
No kidding.
We knew that.
I mean, that's the laughable part of that story to me. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of ugly things come out about him in this. I feel very sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean he's not going to own that team.
True. Roger Goodell, unilaterally, he does not have that power.
No.
The rest of the owners can vote on it, though. And that's what I've been pushing for.
Yeah, and later in the show, I'll tell you why that and $1 will get you a Coke.
Is defense dying in the NFL? I mean, there's a case to be made. We are an offensive-driven league. We are a fantasy football-crazed society that loves points. We love points. We love touchdowns. We love yardage. We love all of those things. Offense drives the NFL.
We love scoring. I think everybody loves to score.
We need another shirt.
Everybody loves to score?
Yeah.
That's off the dome piece.
That's the back of the We Do Ball things.
Bingo.
Yeah. Everybody loves to score.
Designed.
That's how we do it here in the Sportsocracy. We'll have your Just a Bit Outside, your weird news as well. Jeremy, you got hockey bangers that we got some.
We'll do some hockey
tonight.
We'll do some hockey. Make some money on some hockey.
Was this Game 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs or the Stanley Cup Finals?
And the Tampa Bay Lightning awakened from the dead in Game 3.
Oh, yeah,
so
they did.
This is not quite as easy as it was in Games 1 and 2.
All of your favorite segments coming your way over the next 2 hours. But let's get into it. So Rob Gronkowski has called it a career for the second time. He has retired. And yes, I will maintain that if Tom Brady calls at some point during the season, I feel fairly sure. Rob Gronkowski knows. He knows. Tom knows. Everybody knows. This is the last ride of Tom Brady.
No, not everybody knows that. Greg Olson said he's not retiring until he's got 10 because that would be underselling himself.
Greg Olson wants to trend because he wants to prove he's a thing.
Well, he also looks like Bill Hader. So if virtually anything he says, I can only take with so much credence.
Bill Hader gained 150 pounds.
Of muscle.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Greg Olson's fat. I'm just saying that's how small Bill Hader is.
He's just a wispy little fella.
Yeah, Bill Hader of Saturday Night Live, obviously. Greatest guest on Weekend Update ever. His little millennial character, it's the best ever. Anyhow, Rob Gronkowski calling it quits. 11 seasons. He is, second all-time in playoff touchdowns. There was a time where it was no question. If he could keep up this pace, which he wasn't because of injuries, but if he could keep up the pace, he was going to be no doubt, greatest tight end to ever play the game.
And the problem is that in terms of real peak seasons, he had 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, he's always been great. He's always been a red zone threat. My problem with this thought of if Tom calls, he'll just come running. Why? It's not like he needs him. You do get that, right? Rob Gronkowski changes this offense exactly 0. Your futures and wins. Do you know how much it changed when Rob decided to retire?
None.
Yeah. Didn't move a drop.
No. But if Tom says he needs his security blanket, then Rob's going to come running back.
And I just see no path that's going to happen.
It may not happen. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, it's been a hell of a career. And guess what? He's one of the guys that I look most forward to the second act. Because it's going to be in media. It's going to be in working for Amazon or working for somebody.
Is it, though?
He is going to be all over the television.
Do you want to listen to Rob Gronkowski commentate games?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
The only way you want to listen to that is if it's with him, me, and two dudes like us just crushing natty lights all Sunday long.
Rob Gronkowski, Pat McAfee, Manning type show.
In.
Done.
I'll produce it.
And
I'll just come push buttons just because it would be fun.
And they'll do it. They'd be dumb not to.
Well, I think you're over-exaggerating how much. McAfee's harder to get at this point than you think.
I'm sure he is.
Because trust me, they've all made a run at him, and he's basically said, no, I'm good.
I'm good doing
my
what I'm
life's
doing.
pretty good the way it is.
Yeah. So, anyway, that begs the question. Who retired too early? Number one thought in your brain. Who was the first person that popped in your head?
Barry Sanders.
Yep.
Didn't even blink at it.
It has to be Barry Sanders.
That was the impetus of the question. Was I heard a discussion about is Rob Gronkowski the player that we missed out on how great it could be because he was hurt and retired too early? No, it's Barry Sanders. There is no other answer. I mean, now you can give other answers, but Barry needed to be in it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We got a slew of these. Bo Jackson was another really common one.
Yeah.
You didn't seem moved by Bo.
I'm not moved by Bo because, I mean, yes, he was great. Don't get me wrong. Bo Jackson was the it factor in all of sports. I mean, everybody remembers the Nike commercials. The Bo knows he can do it all. He can smash home runs and make all-star teams in baseball. He can be unbelievable and run over Brian Bosworth on the football field. But it was the injuries. The injuries killed what could have been one of the all-time great careers in the NFL. And
to me, that's part of the question. That got robbed from us.
But I think he's number one. I think he's number one on that list. That's a separate list
of who got robbed because of injury.
Exactly. Because we were talking about this with the NBA. Like, how many NBA players can you come up with that were retired too early?
Brandon Roy.
Yeah, but then there again, it was the injuries.
Yeah, but I mean that's why he retired too early.
Right.
You could still be angry at that. And that still pertains to this question.
But it also hampered his career. So by the end of it,
not as much as you think.
I mean, he was good. Don't get me wrong. But by the end of it, it was like, yeah, he needs to retire. I thought about Andrew Luck as well. Andrew Luck, probably high on this list of guys who retired too early.
That one was pretty common as well.
But there again, did we really want to see him get his brains knocked out over and over and over and over again?
Andrew Luck was an acceptable answer to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those are the two that I feel like there is better than even what I saw out of them were Andrew Luck and Barry Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry was, in my opinion, the greatest running back that ever lived.
Yeah. I
don't even think it's debatable, but I'll listen if you want to throw somebody else out there.
Jim Brown. Jim Brown's the only one that comes close. Look,
if
I
you played before
difference.
disco happened, I don't want to hear. I'm good. Okay?
I understand the difference in the eras. I do, but still, Jim Brown was the most dominant running back in NFL history.
It's like saying George Mikan is a top 20 basketball player of all time. I don't think he is.
No,
okay?
He's not. He's not. But
you
Jim Brown,
gotta look at the era he played in.
Yeah, but also there's a difference in the athletes. I mean,
no
George
doubt.
Mikan, if he were if he were young and he were playing in today's NBA, he would be nothing.
He would just be another
He'd be a practice
guy.
dude, right?
Yeah, he would be another 7-foot guy that. Hey, you're not very athletic. These guys are.
Jim Brown, on the other hand, in his prime, if he were young and to play in the NFL today, he'd be better than Jonathan Taylor. He'd be better than Derrick Henry.
This is
Maybe
not
not better.
This is not the path I wanted to go down, but I'm going to vehemently disagree with you on that.
All right, fine.
There's a big difference between athletes today.
I understand.
That's the reason that I really, and I'm sure this rubs some people the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't acknowledge things that happened. I'll say from 70 and before.
Yep.
I always do 70 because the Jets won a Super Bowl in 69. So it makes it very obvious that I'm not being a homer. Don't count that either. It's just a different game.
Right.
Barry Sanders in modern NFL times made people look foolish.
Mm-hmm. Luke Kuechly. That's an injury thing as well, but we did get 8 years of just hard-nosed football out of Luke Kuechly. Unfortunately, it got short. I think he did the right thing.
Oh, I do too.
The day he announced it, I went, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I've seen enough. Luke, don't put your future in danger to stay on the field. But, I mean, we got 5 first-team all-pro seasons out of Luke Kuechly. Really wished we could have seen more. Patrick Willis, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Would have loved to see him finish out his career.
And I would argue that's 2 of the 6 or 7 best linebackers that ever lived.
Agreed.
And you only caught 8 years apiece.
Mm-hmm.
Those were definitely in the discussion for me. Sports freak Brian Hall said one that I did not think of, and I did not know this. Bjorn Borg.
Mm-hmm.
He retired at 26 years old.
Which is crazy. You told me that before the show, and I thought I knew he had retired in his 20s, but I had no clue that he was that young. 26 is young.
I had no idea. You could honestly have convinced me he was still playing tennis, and I probably would have fallen for it if you were convincing enough.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. What athlete retired too early? Who did we not get to see enough of? We'll talk more about it coming up after this right here on ESPN Asheville. It is the 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day. Who retired too early?
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the numbers are high, but the humidity is not as high as it can be this time of June for us here in the Carolinas, and that's allowing our nighttime low temps to settle down nicely. We're in the mid and upper 60s here across the valley tonight. Partly cloudy Thursday, 86 degrees, and 63 for Thursday night. Chance for rain going up for Friday into the weekend as the low comes in from the Atlantic, brings some thunderstorms this weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Here's to the great American settlers, the millions of you who settled for unsatisfying jobs because they pay the bills. Of course, there is something else you could do if you got something to say. Start a podcast with Spreaker from iHeart and unleash your creative freedom. Maybe even earn enough money to one day tell your old boss, "Hey, I'm no settler. I'm an explorer." Spreaker.com. Spreaker. Hustle on over today.
You do not want to miss this. Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's huge summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Carpets, rugs, upholstery, tile, and even air ducts all 15% off. Use promo code summer sale at ZeroResAsheville.com. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone. Adults, teens, millennials. But it's not like these groups all hang out in the same place, right? Actually wrong. They're all right here, listening to radio commercials just like this one. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM/FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
On Monday, July 4th, start your celebration off with a bang at the Asheville Independence Day 5K. It takes place at 8 a.m. with a start and finish at the Carrier Park Velodrome. Bring your family and friends out to celebrate on a fun, fast, and flat course. There's prizes and awards for age groups as well. Part of the proceeds benefit the Beloved Village Project. For more information and to get signed up, go to avlindependenceday5k.com. avlindependenceday5k.com. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day. Who retired too early? Rob Gronkowski calling it quits after 11 years in the NFL, and I don't think it's too early for him. He's already done this once. He's already retired once. So I don't think that he really qualifies for this, but some people do. Some people still wanted the story to continue. There's still a chance. There's still a chance we could see him back on the football field one last time with Tom Brady. But
I wouldn't look for it.
Who else? Who else retired too early?
Sterling Sharp is another name that got a lot of love.
Sterling, I didn't think about Sterling Sharp. I mean, how many years did he play? He felt like he played forever.
He didn't. It wasn't nearly as long as you think. Because he got hurt. Mm-hmm. And total played 112 games. So he was done at 29.
Okay. All right. I'll take that.
And he was a phenomenal. Played, 7 seasons? Mm-hmm. 7 or 5,000-yard seasons in the 7 years he played?
Yep.
He was incredible. To me, I would argue he is the one that gets forgotten because he retired early.
Okay.
I've always said there's a little bit of mystique with, Barry Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Because he set all these records, and he could have put them where they will never, ever, ever, ever be touched. They won't be touched where they're sitting now. But it could have been even better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling Sharp gets forgotten. When you mention top 25 receivers of all time, he should be in that. He's on the backside.
Yeah.
But he should at least be mentioned.
Honorable mention. He gets an honorable mention for top 25. I don't know.
We're both throwing shade at
older
players.
I'm not throwing shade. The reason I felt like Sterling Sharp played forever because, I mean, he was a star with the Packers when I was first falling in love with football at 10 years old. So, excuse me if I was off on his on his early retirement. It just felt like he was always there. And then Shannon came into the league, and so there was always a Sharp for a long time in the NFL. Calvin Johnson.
That's one that has to be.
Stephen Tao said it in the comments. Only answer. Calvin Johnson. 9 years in the NFL. He got sick and tired of the losing ways of the Detroit Lions. It said they'll never win a Super Bowl, and I'm out. They're not going to trade me, and I'm done.
How sad is that?
It is very sad.
The Detroit had, to me, without a doubt, the best running back that ever lived. A top 5 receiver of all time.
Yep.
Neither one of them made it past their 30th birthday.
Yep.
That's almost hard to comprehend.
Calvin Johnson, 4-time All-Pro. 3 on the first team All-Pro, 1 on the second team All-Pro. Played 9 years. He averaged 86.1 yards per game.
Which is insanity.
That's 3rd all-time. It's trivia time, Jeremy. Who's 1 and 2? On yards per game receiving in NFL history, Calvin Johnson's 3. Who is 1 and 2?
I feel like this is a trick question. These are going to be 2 weirdish answers.
I will tell you it's not Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice was one that I'd already called because he played those years with the Raiders.
Right.
So that number of games would have gotten.
I'm going to say number 1 and number 2 both will surprise you.
Antonio Brown's going to be pretty high on this list.
I think he was 4.
He's 4?
I've still got the list pulled up here. Let me check that real quick.
He's going to be high solely because he missed a lot of games, but was.
He's 5.
He's 5.
He's 5 all time.
Are either of them still active?
Yes, both.
Both are still active.
Both are still active.
I'm going to say Devontae Adams.
No.
Then I don't know because I thought he would have been ahead the other one I was going to say.
Devontae Adams is 25.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 25th at 70 yards per game. Number 1 all time. Well, let me do this in reverse order. Number 2 all time in yards per game. It's a guy that's only been in the league for a couple of years. So maybe this is a little too skewed. But it's a guy who you said probably shouldn't be playing in the NFL. It's Justin Jefferson. He's number 2.
I love how every time you mention Justin Jefferson, I said he should be working at Walmart.
91.4 yards per game. A whole half a yard per game more is the ageless one, or the aged one. I guess we should go with the aged one. Julio Jones is number 1.
Wow.
All time. 91.9 yards per game. Calvin Johnson, third all time at 86.1. So this is a pretty big jump between 1 and 2. And number 3 all time. But Calvin Johnson clearly has to be one of the top answers to this question of who retired too early. It starts with the Detroit Lions. You got Barry Sanders 1 and Calvin Johnson 2.
And that was my first 2 thoughts.
Now, you said Sterling Sharp gets forgotten because he retired too early. I feel like this guy gets forgotten because he retired early. The start of his career was not great. But the latter years of his career, he really got into some momentum, and it was Tiki Barber. Tiki only played 10 years in the league. And
it's hard for me to say
seasons,
a running back that played 10 years. That
Barry played 9. I mean, 10 years sounds like a lot. 10 years sounds like a lot, but think about it. I mean, these guys spent, Barry spent 3 years in college, so he was 31 by the time he retired. We often feel like running backs are just, practically useless after age 28, 29, because their wheels have been run off. That was not the case for Barry Sanders, and it wasn't the case for Tiki Barber. He had 1,600 yards his last year in the league. He had 1,800 the year before that. He was in a great group, and it was one of the retirements that I'll never forget because it just shocked me so much. And, of course, I love his brother.
Yeah, Homer.
Right.
Who's shocked that you went full Homer.
Right.
I don't know. Tiki Barber's one of those. It's probably in that same Sterling Sharp vein for you.
Yeah. He's not going to be an all-timer. If you're going top 25 running backs of all time, I doubt Tiki Barber probably makes that list. But he could be an honorable mention. He could be somewhere in that neighborhood.
The more I'm thinking through in my head, those two are very, very similar.
Mm-hmm. They are.
It's just sad. And what's funny is as we did this exercise, I've realized there's been one of these guys about every 5 years.
Yep.
With all of the names that got thrown at us, I was looking at when they came in and when they went out. It's been about every 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Look, and I think the reason that more of it exists in football than anything is because of injuries, because it's such a violent physical sport. You just can't do. I mean, that's why I give Frank Gore so much credit for having the longest career.
Can we not have any football conversation that you don't feel the urge to champion the Frank Gore Hall of Fame committee?
I'm sorry. I mean,
does he pay you for every time you mention his name?
He doesn't. But I feel like
he gets more love on this show than any mediocre player in the history of sports.
Because I think you have to give him credit for sticking around and being healthy as long as he was, because it just doesn't happen that much.
I'm not trying to say he's strong candidate. I'm just saying, he gets a lot of free love.
I mean,
from
he's
you.
not. He's never in the same conversation of great running backs and explosive, players like Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders, guys like that. Any of the great running backs. But I think you got to give credit to a guy who could stay healthy and who was dependable and was just around forever. Again, top 5 yardage all time in the NFL. It's crazy to see a career like that. But football obviously has more of these examples than any other sport. I've tried to think about baseball, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't think of one.
Somebody on our social media, we only got a couple baseball players, but the one that made me laugh the most was Chipper Jones. He was like 39 when he retired. It doesn't count.
Right.
That's not exactly what we're looking for.
I mean, baseball purists and the older generation will obviously go to Sandy Koufax, who only played like 10, 12 years in the league. But, I mean, he could have had a 25-year career, but chose not to.
Yeah, baseball is one of those things that kind of lends itself to you can play forever. I'm
100%.
95% sure Bartolo Colon is still slinging somewhere.
I think he's playing for the Savannah Bananas, actually, down in the Independence somewhere. It's time to get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
And speaking of baseball and speaking of players that played forever, it feels like. So Monday night, the Red Sox are playing the Detroit Tigers. And on the broadcast, it was, they had special ceremonies and everything on Monday. And Poppy and Manny Ramirez were there to throw out the ceremonial first pitches. And during the broadcast, Manny Ramirez is talking about baseball. He's just talking about like the culture of Major League Baseball and how stars are made. And he said probably one of the dumbest things I think I've ever heard, that if Derek Jeter had played for Kansas City, just using them as an example of a small market team, that he would have just been a regular player. Now, I don't in any terms believe that to be true by any stretch of the imagination. But then I thought about it for a minute, and I went, who are the greatest small market players of all time? Because basically what Manny was saying is unless you play in Boston or you play in New York, and he didn't include any other cities, but I will stretch that out to Los Angeles or one of the major, Chicago, one of the major markets, you're limited on how much fans are going to fall in love with you. I don't think there's any lies to that statement. Do you?
In baseball?
Right.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
And I can prove that in one very simple sentence. Answer this question. Name the best active player for the Seattle Mariners. and scene. Lawyered.
Right. So, but it got me thinking, who are the greatest, small market players of all time? And there's so many guys that fall into this category. I was thinking about guys like Joe Mauer. Imagine how big, and granted, Joe Mauer, I think one of the greatest catchers of all time.
Florida State guy.
However, he doesn't get the credit or get enough credit in my book because he played with Minnesota for all those years.
That's a player that even I know how good he is.
Yeah.
Now, as I stated, he was a Florida State commit, so I may have paid slightly more attention to him.
As a quarterback, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He was one of those dual sport stars like Todd Helton. Todd Helton can fall into this category with Colorado Rockies. But I thought Derek Jeter, if he were to be one of these, small market stars, would he ever have been like Mr. Baseball?
Oh, God.
Would he ever have been Mr. October?
Oh, no.
And I'm going to give it because I pulled up the stats on these guys. I did the comparison between Derek Jeter and this one really great baseball player who played for small market teams his entire career.
Is it Miguel Tejada?
It is not Miguel Tejada.
Ah,
no.
That's one I knew.
No, it's Paul Molitor. You don't even know that name, do you?
He played for the Twins.
All right, yeah. He played for the Twins. He
was
played
a
for the
manager,
Brewers.
too.
He played for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was he was the World Series MVP the second year that they won the World Series in their back-to-back years. But you look at their stats, and Paul Molitor and Derek Jeter are damn near the same player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from batting average to doubles to Paul Molitor kills him in triples because he was a faster player back in his day. But, yeah, I'm going to give you Paul Molitor. How high do you think Paul Molitor ranks on the all-time greatest players list in Major League Baseball? Now, he's a guy that got the 3,000 hits, so obviously he's going to be on a short list of some kind, like top 100, top 75.
Oh, I mean, baseball, they talk about guys that played in the 1800s. So you think I upset people with what I said about Jim Brown? Let me get real into baseball.
I will just say, it's strikingly similar statistics. If you don't believe that playing for a major franchise has a major impact on your marketability, just look at Paul Molitor and Derek Jeter's stats. all time for their entire careers. Damn near mirror images of each other. So, Manny, while I guess I owe you an apology. While I thought that was the stupidest thing you ever said, I don't know that he's lying.
I don't think he's lying at all. I think he's completely accurate. Last year, Trevor Lawrence took a lot of L's in his rookie year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now it is debatable that he might have taken a colossal L because of something we talked about on this show. Now, this is debated because SB Nation is claiming, well, it did happen. Okay, I'm going to take him at his word and say it did. When Trevor Lawrence signed his rookie deal, he came out and said that he used it to buy Bitcoin. Well, crypto is not exactly aged well. And CoinJournal.com came out with a story yesterday of the sports stars who suffered the biggest salary losses in 2021-22 because of crypto. Mm-hmm. Trevor Lawrence was 2. His $24 million signing bonus that he, according to himself, put into Bitcoin. He is endorsed by a crypto agency, and so there is a thought that he's getting paid anyway, whatever. I'm not in the semantics of it. If he actually did that $24 million signing bonus, what do you think it's worth today?
I'll say $16 million.
It's 9. It's 9.
Wow.
That's a $15 million haircut.
That hurts.
For Goldilocks himself. I'm just going to say this again, and I've said this before. There are a few things in this life that I don't understand. NFTs. I will never understand an NFT. I don't know why I need to pay money for a computer image of something I've already seen.
Right.
You'll never explain that to me if I live to be 1,000 years old.
And it's not going to be worth squat.
I will never understand people taking their U.S. dollars and going, I'm going to spend it on this. What is that? Well, that's money. So let me get it straight. You paid in-hand money for fictitious fantasy money. And Trevor Lawrence may have found out the hard way that it can giveth and taketh away.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Wow. Hey, if you do crypto, it's totally on you. You understand it, I'm sure, exponentially more than I do.
You lost $15 million.
I had one little soiree into crypto, and it was beyond enough for me. There's way too many passwords and keychains and coin purses and
keychains.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't even know what all the terms mean. And guess what? I don't care.
Or is that blockchain?
Whatever.
Blockchains.
Keychains, blockchains. It's all, just get off my lawn.
Now, I don't know what a blockchain is either. I'd never heard the keychain.
Show hands, so shocked.
Yeah. Oh, no. I know what a keychain is.
You barely know what a keyboard is, so I'm not shocked that you don't know what a blockchain is.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. And the U.S. House Oversight Committee, they are going to subpoena, or they are subpoenaing, Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington Commanders, over their investigation into pretty much everything. Everything that he has been accused of, the culture of sexual harassment that existed in the front office while Bruce Allen was there, the stealing money, basically hiding money away, ticket revenue away from visiting teams, all of this, they are looking into it. They've been asking him very nicely, I would imagine, of, hey, we would love for you to come testify. We really need you to come testify. No, he kept saying, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. And now they have invoked the subpoena powers. So now Daniel Snyder has a choice. He can face the $1,000 fine and up to a year in prison, which would never happen.
No. He's going to talk.
You think so?
Oh, no doubt.
All right.
He's absolutely going to talk. Here's the problem. I'm going to say the same thing, and I've used this analogy before. It's the 90% rule. You can get something 90% to the finish line, and that last 10% is the really important part. It's like a NASCAR race. You can lead the first 90% of laps. If you wreck into the wall, it was not a good day. you're never going to get to the 10% that you're trying to. Because the objective here is to get him to admit all of the things he did, and then what? Remove him from the team.
Yes.
That's the part you're never going to get to. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. I don't care what he says. And do you know why?
Why?
Because it will take 24 of the 31 other owners to go, bye, and you'll never get it. For one very simple reason. I don't want you looking at me.
Yeah.
I could tell you 7 off the top of my head. I'm not going to. There are 7 NFL owners that I personally know enough things about that if you start going on we're going to remove you from the ownership group, they will get a little antsy.
They always refer to these groups of owners, whether it be the NBA or the Major League Baseball or the NFL, as the billionaires' boy clubs. And it's
it's very true.
Right. It's everything that you think entails that, or that title entails. These are a tight-knit group, and they may not like each other, but they know that we're, oh gosh, not even, everybody talks about the 1%ers. These are the 0.001%ers.
Oh, absolutely. And there are a couple reasons for this. And look, I'm not condoning what he did by any stretch. I'm not telling you this is the way it should be.
You're just saying the hands are tied.
This is the way it is. Yeah, because if you start, the fear amongst ownership groups is if you start looking into everything that I do, you've already got Deshaun Watson that has come out and said, if you penalize me, I'm going to shine a light on all of the things you've let these owners do and get by with it. They want the light to shine that way. Any way that is not directly on me. And there's another problem that the NFL has that no one talks about.
Okay, what's that?
The Denver Broncos sold for $4.5 billion.
Yes.
And before anybody comments on this, I'm well aware that not one person has to come up with just the cash. I understand these are ownership groups. I get that. Give me a little platitude, and I'll explain to you why I'm saying this way. According to the Forbes list, do you know how many Americans there are that have $4.5 billion?
6.
You are
I have no idea.
Horrid at this game. There are 6 that have over $100 billion. It's 247.
Okay.
There are 247 Americans that have $4.5 billion. Now, you pretty much at this point in any new ownership group are going to need one of those people because you have to be cash fluid.
Right.
It's one thing to have 9 guys that are 100 millionaires that have cobbled all their money together. That's not the NFL's game anymore. They're big game hunting. I want you to think about the names that have come up and been attached to ownership groups. You had the Walton family that bought the Broncos. They're the Walmart people. Jeff Bezos with Amazon.
Yep.
Elon Musk has been said more times than I can count. He has zero interest, by the way.
Right.
Mark Cuban is like right on the line of having enough to be the forefront of one of these. I don't 100% understand all of the financials, but basically what I've been told is somebody in your ownership group better have $5 billion in asset. You don't have to be $5 billion liquid.
Right.
But you're going to have a lot to be able to contend with the way things are going in the NFL now. And I'm not saying that that's a reason to not upset the apple cart. If it were up to me, for just the Washington Commander fans I know, please get rid of Daniel Snyder. Aside from the headache and the fact that I think he's just my name's on the door so I can say this. I just think he's a god-awful human being, and you probably know 10% of what's actually there. I just don't think there's any teeth to this. Congress can't do anything to remove him. This House committee, they can't do anything.
No.
All you're doing is wasting time hoping that you can embarrass this guy enough that he'll walk away. I don't know how much you've paid attention to this. This is not who you're dealing with. You're not going to embarrass him away. You're not going to Jerry Richardson him where you say, could you just do us a favor here and sell the team? Because the difference between those two people is night and day. Yes, Jerry Richardson did some bad things. I also know about 100 people that know him personally that will tell you he's one of the nicest humans you'll ever come in contact with.
Right.
He did the adult thing, the good for the game thing, the good for the Carolina Panthers thing and sold the team. David Tepper bought it, and now we're here.
Mm-hmm.
That's not happening in Washington. He will fight this until his dying day.
Sure.
I asked somebody in sports legal if they really chase this. Let's say there are seedy things that we don't have any idea about. How long would it take for this to go from pillar to post? Because you're not going to get the ownership commitment. That's not going to happen. The 3/4 majority vote, you can say that till you're blue in the face. You're not going to get it. If you went the legal route, because there are some loopholes, it'd take 10 years to get him out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do that. Here's how this will go. He will admit to doing a lot of sketchy things. Since we've been on the air, he's already positioned his response because he sent out a letter to season ticket holders and the members of the ownership group outlining all of the things he has done to fix what he did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Diversity initiatives and different things like that. This is his defense of, yeah, I was a bad guy, but I'm trying to be better.
Right.
That's what's coming. And so you can circle this tail all you want to. It's like a dog chasing their tail.
Right.
Okay, even if you catch it, what are you going to do? You don't have any teeth.
Daniel Snyder is I will say, it's either him or it's just him and the combination of his legal advisory team. I think they're playing this perfectly.
They're blaming. Who's shocked that somebody that's worth billions of dollars has a legal team that's positioned him in a positive light?
Well, because he's blaming Congress. He's, this is the investigation. It was the outcome was determined before we even started this process. It's nothing but a show trial. It's all of the things. Congress shouldn't be involved in this, and of course, there's some truth to that. Congress should not be, Congress shouldn't have investigated. They should have had like the Mitchell report and all that on the steroids in baseball. Henry Waxman and all that.
I would be remiss if
God-awful show trial.
I would be remiss if I didn't say, I think you probably have better things to do.
Yeah.
Well, what do I know?
Right.
And I want to tie this into our first super chat of the day, which is from PDog006, who said how the word I can't say on the show
blank
is Robert Sarver still the Suns owner? That's the point. The NBA has exponentially more teeth into owners. Remember Donald Sterling?
Donald Sterling, yeah.
That didn't take long.
No.
If they really wanted to do something with Robert Sarver, they would have already done it. I'm not saying it won't end up that way because there are just unspeakable bad that's happened out there.
Right.
The NBA has way more teeth into its ownership groups than the NFL does.
Mm-hmm.
And even, let's say they did have some. There's only a handful of people in this world that could buy one of these teams because they become so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a catch-all of, okay, we want you to know how bad of a guy he is. But what really comes of that? All right, so people think he's a scumbag. I would wager 95% of people think that anyway.
He's absolutely a scumbag.
I don't think you can have an IQ above salad dressing and go, well, he's probably not as bad as he's made out to be.
But he is a billionaire who has, like I said, a legal team, a research team, all of these experts that can help him out. 29-page memo was released today by the U.S. House Oversight Committee. Inside that report, it talks about the backhanded things that he did to try to sway the NFL and the investigation that was going on into the culture of the football team. He used this lawsuit, this defamation lawsuit in India against media entertainment arts worldwide to use subpoena powers to get dirt on everybody who had something to complain about.
Which is
whether it be former employees, the complainants themselves, Washington Post reporters. He presented to the league and the investigators from the league, or the third-party investigators, a 100-slide dossier of nothing but dirt on all of these people to try to discredit them, to try to impugn their character.
Is there any word in this world that screams something nefarious is happening here than dossier? Every time you hear that word, you just go, that's not good. I don't know exactly what happened, but it's not good.
That's one more thing you can thank the Clintons for. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We'll be right back.
Just keep your eye on the ball. At Ingles, we know that big dreams don't always make it to the big leagues. But we also know that baseball, it's family. It's about building character. And as sure as there'll be some stumbles on that journey from first to home, we'll be right there, cheering you on. This is baseball, and this is who we are. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. iHeartRadio, let's go!
A weekend full of superstar performances, never seen before collaboration, and once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
Friday, September 23rd and Saturday the 24th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas.
Our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Buy your tickets now at AXS.com.
By now, you know how regenerative medicine is amazingly effective at treating joint pain. QC Kinetics has helped thousands of people get their life back pain-free. They're now using the same regenerative protocols to restore thinning hair for men and women with astonishing results. It's hair restoration without surgery. Natural biologic treatments that can restore aging hair follicles, giving you thicker, fuller hair. Regenerative medicine is such a breakthrough, it uses your own body's powerful growth and healing agents, highly concentrated and applied directly to the affected area. No drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. So if you're losing your hair due to aging, pattern baldness, or a medical condition, call now to learn more about exciting natural biologic treatments that can stimulate those dormant hair follicles. Get it growing naturally again. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. 828-333-9517. With locations in Asheville and in Greenville. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
Hey, Dad? Cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
It's so sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, I'm Ariana. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Southwest salad is when I take a bite, it's like, wow. I'm getting a punch from the roasted corn. I'm getting a kick from the spicy chicken. It's just great.
Hi, this is Tori. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Cobb salad is the avocado lime dressing. It adds to the chicken, the bacon, and the roasted corn. It takes the salad to a whole nother level.
Order a salad for delivery on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy here in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM. And we got hockey tonight. I had to use that one because it's the only hockey drop I have. Still haven't seen Slapshot, which I think is a tragedy.
Well, I mean, here's my question. Have you watched any of the Stanley Cup finals?
No.
Then you're doing it wrong. This has been wildly entertaining. Now, none of them have been particularly close, which I do believe changes tonight.
All right, Game 3 was 6-2.
The one thing they've all had in common, they keep going over, and they're not adjusting this line at all. So, my hockey banger for the night, both teams are minus 110, which I think it's shifted enough that I don't really love the value there. So, I'm going to take Tampa Bay plus the 1.5. I think even if they lose, they'll lose by a goal. It'll happen in overtime because this is in Tampa Bay. And I am aggressively going over the 6. These two teams just play really, really fast. And for me, it's been just wildly entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I said this last week. I think everything I've seen from the Stanley Cup Finals was better than the NBA Finals, and it's not really all that close.
I've enjoyed the synopses of each game. Barry Melrose and his little recaps on ESPN. That's all the hockey I really need. Plus, I'm not up late at night anymore, so I miss out on live action sometimes. I
feel like we're missing out on a comedic goldmine of the Mullet Man Explains the Canadian Sport the day after. Ooh. A 60-second synopsis of me in my West Virginia turn of phrase explaining what happened in hockey.
So these dudes were on a frozen pond, right?
It looked real cold, and they were skating real fast.
These are some tough sons of guns, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that may happen in the morning. We're off tomorrow. I could see a path that happens tomorrow.
Right. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, one of our new sponsors here in the Sportsocracy. Tell us all about them, Jamie.
Hour of the show, and a family that I have been a member of for a long time. I've told you on the show, I do not endorse people that I don't believe in. It's just kind of my thing. And when they came to me and said, hey, we need to buy cars, I can help you with that, because I will 100% tell you, as somebody that I know these people, they're friends of mine, this is the no-hassle car buying, car selling, car trading experience that you're looking for. People talk about apps and all the other ways that you can buy a car. This is the best way to buy a car. Sell a car, however you want to do it. Go visit my friends at Fred Anderson Nissan at 629 Brevard Road. Even if you're not buying a car, they will buy your car. Top of the market prices, 629 Brevard Road. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Coming up in the next hour, we'll talk about, is defense dying in the NFL? We're all obsessed with offense. So, is it going to be a thing of the past, or considered a thing of the past? And we'll have your preview of the NBA draft coming up after Sports Center.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the numbers are high, but the humidity is not as high as it can be this time of June for us here in the Carolinas, and that's allowing our nighttime low temps to settle down nicely. We're in the mid and upper 60s here across the valley tonight. Partly cloudy Thursday, 86 degrees, and 63 for Thursday night. Chance for rain going up for Friday into the weekend as a low comes in from the Atlantic, brings some thunderstorms this weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing Services helps small business print big with wide format signs and banners. Right now, get $10 off custom printed signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. Offer ends 7/2. Visit staples.com/thisisyoursign for details. This is your sign to print big at Staples.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with expertise and tools with Windows 11 to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. To do more with a Latitude laptop, Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
The Jack Harlow meal from KFC is here. It comes with a spicy chicken sandwich, a side of mac and cheese, KFC secret recipe fries, ranch, and a nice cold lemonade. That's finger-licking good. Order your Jack Harlow meal today on the KFC app. Prices and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today. This week, hot fashion trends, from bestsellers to big events. And Jill Martin has the summer steals and deals you need. Plus, Kim Kardashian, Julie Andrews, and a concert with pop star Conan Gray. Watch the Today Show every morning on NBC.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Christine Lisi with the latest injury news for Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC. Lightning forwards Nikita Kucherov and Nick Paul, both hurt in Game 3, will play against the Avalanche tonight, while center Braden Point remains out. The absence of Point is a major one for the two-time defending champs, notes ESPN's Kevin Weeks.
His ability in that bumper position is so unique. Being in the middle, down low, at 5-on-5, or especially on the power play, his ability to handle the puck is so unique, but at least it's offset by the fact that the captain, Steven Stamkos, who had a career best season in terms of points in the regular season, assists. He looks like himself. He scored a huge goal last game, top shelf Bucci, and he looks great.
Avalanche forward Nazem Kadri on the verge of returning from a broken thumb. Game 4, 8 Eastern ABC. The U.S. House Oversight Committee will subpoena Washington Commanders owner Daniel Snyder for a deposition next week. He declined to testify today, citing overseas work commitments. The committee is investigating the team's workplace culture. NFL Commissioner Raj Goodell testified today that he has no authority to remove Snyder as owner of the Commanders amid the ongoing scrutiny over several issues.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. And great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. And for a limited time only, capture your Barbasol Jurassic World collector cans before they're gone.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, cash. That's cash. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNAVL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Second hour of the program here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. You can hear us live or on demand and take us everywhere you go. You can also get us, see us everywhere you go as well on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Don't forget to click on that live video link once you're through to YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, and you can join the House of Reprehensibles if you so choose. It's not required, but a subscription is required for you to get into the chat with us each and every day. So the question of the day was, who retired too early? Our 12 Bones Smokehouse question of the day.
And we will have a winner that goes into our drawing on Friday before the end of this here program.
Yes, indeed. And you want to make sure that you have the best comment of the day each and every day, so you can get into our prize pack drawings each and every week from 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery.
We'll give you tremendous gift cards and swag. You get barbecue and beer. What more could you possibly want for just saying something in our chat on social media?
Question of the second hour of the program today is defense dying in the NFL? And that may sound stupid, because defense is a cornerstone of the game. Obviously, there are two sides of the game, and defense is very important.
But is it, though?
It is. I would say it is.
Is it, though? All right, so we did our power rankings a few weeks ago. I want you to really think about those teams. How many of them are great defensively?
I would say there are a few. The Rams come to mind.
That are great.
I think the Rams
great linebackers,
wouldn't they? I mean,
great linebackers, really just sweltering coverage.
I mean, Troy Reader's also.
Or
what are you saying?
Are there a lot of teams that have two really good pass rushers and everything else? We just got to figure it out. Yeah. Look at the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo has Tre'Davious White.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have Von Miller, Greg Rousseau, and the litany of pass rushers they have. I have said this is my Super Bowl favorite, and it's not all that close.
You're forgetting Jordan Poyer. Come on.
Yeah, he.
I know his defense is not the most favorite thing about him.
No. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Instagram.
Yeah.
There are still deficiencies on that team.
Yes.
In the NFL at this point, look at the coaches that are defensive-minded coaches. Mm-hmm. You know what they almost all have in common? They're either on, I'll be kind and say hole 17, just get ready to end and fade off into the sunset. Looking at Bill, Pete Carroll. And I could argue they're all either struggling or getting ready to.
Okay.
Name me the great young defensive coach in this league.
Great?
Great. Because I can give you 7 great young offensive coaches.
Yeah, I can't think of one that's
Zach
great.
Taylor was just in a Super Bowl, and I could argue he's not a top 5 young head coach in this league.
Sean McDermott and Brandon Staley.
And that's
Those
weird.
Are the best two.
And that's weird. The 2 great young defensive guys, what do they both have? Oh, they both have top
quarterbacks.
5 quarterbacks. Weird. That's weird how that works.
Right.
And where this came from was when Gronk announced his retirement, you start to realize that that's the last great offensive player that Bill drafted. That team is as listless as they come. I mean, that's not me throwing shade because I'm a Jets fan. You're still probably better than us, but it's not saying a lot.
Right.
But there's no growth potential there. You have no playmakers. You have no anything.
Mm-hmm.
And what it got me thinking about is the team that Gronk is walking away from. Bruce Arians retires. Mm-hmm. They promote Todd Bowles. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to argue that that's probably the worst thing you could possibly have done.
I would agree. Here's
why. You see young coaches like Zach Taylor or Sean McVay or these offensive minds. And I'm going to put Kevin O'Connell with Minnesota in that, even though I haven't actually seen him coach a game yet, because I have a feeling I know how this is going to go.
Mm-hmm.
You get the offense right. In this league, you better score points or you are doomed.
Yep.
Because you're not going to stop these proficient offenses. So you have Todd Bowles that, okay, let's say he gets your defense right-ish. You're in the top 10 defensively for the next 5 years. Now, as somebody that watched a defense he coordinated, I'm going to say I'm being very kind.
Mm-hmm.
The offense is run by who?
Byron Leftwich.
The minute he shows he can coordinate a high-level offense in this league with no Bruce Arians, what's going to happen?
He's going to get a job.
He's gone.
Yeah.
So you have to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to keep a young offensive mind in this league because this is a imitation league. I see a team do this, and it's all Sean McVay. You see this young little wonderkin offensive coach go in there with the big smile, and everybody loves him, and he's Instagram living his wedding. And that's what everybody wants.
Mm-hmm.
They want that coach that everybody rallies around. Defensively, I can figure it out. Do you realize how many good defensive coaches are either unemployed or underemployed in this league?
Yeah.
Start searching through coaches that have been fired in the last 10 years. There's a lot of them that are like, oh, I don't know, the linebackers coach for the Colts. John Fox is a senior defensive assistant.
Yep.
I can figure it out. I don't care. I need that guy that can score me points.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started going through of young coaches that we really feel good about. Name me a young defensive coach you feel good about.
Staley. Brandon Staley.
All right, hadn't made the playoffs yet, but I'll give you that one.
Okay.
And then Mike Tomlin is still young enough for you to say him.
Okay.
And
Mike Tomlin.
And I did that only because end of message.
Right.
Oh, Matt Eberflus. You tell me how he doesn't get fired.
Mm-hmm.
You give me a path of outcomes here where he doesn't get fired.
Yeah, he's in a god-awful situation in Chicago.
Now, let me do the opposite here and say that Chicago had hired Kevin O'Connell.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin O'Connell brings in Wade Phillips to be his defensive coordinator. They weren't in L.A. together, but they were both in L.A., so we'll just assume they know each other.
Okay.
Would you not feel better about that team than you do now?
100%.
Exactly. So why would you ever? My argument here is that the great stalwart defensive coach is going the way of the dodo bird.
Yeah.
The high-level, smart, 30-year-old assistant. What's he working on?
Offense.
Quarterbacks, receivers, tight ends. The defensive coach is the running back of the coaching room. It's great. That's fantastic that you're this good.
Most expendable.
I can replace you 16 ways to Sunday. I can find somebody that can coordinate a defense well enough to deal. I know I'm not going to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not going to stop you. And what that got me thinking about is look at these teams that have a defensive head coach. They're all listless as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm.
Washington. Yeah, Ron Rivera's a good defensive coach. 5 years from now, A, do you think he's there?
No.
B, do you think they have won more than 9 games in a season?
No.
No. Tennessee Titans. That's the high side. That's the high side of this.
Yep.
If I told you they didn't win more than 10 games and missed the playoffs 3 of the next 5 years, would you be surprised?
Nope.
No. And that's one of the best young defensive coaches in the league.
Right.
And so you look at these old guys.
So
and that's how I'm going to lump them in together.
Yeah.
Is Rivera, Belichick, Pete Carroll.
Okay.
why are you still doing this? And I'm looking for both sides, the team and the coach. Why are you still doing this? If you're Washington, I kind of get it, because you're in a division that's so bad that you can at least be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle can't be competitive. You have a 71-year-old coach that predicates himself on defense, and he hadn't been able to play dead in the Western defensively for 2 years.
Right.
Oh, we've got playmakers. Yeah, and you got Drew Lock playing quarterback. And Geno Smith. And the whole reason you didn't draft one wasn't because you didn't like one. Now, can I say you liked one enough to be a franchise quarterback? No, maybe not. But it's because why would I let Pete draft this guy? Why would I allow Pete Carroll to select this quarterback knowing full well 2 years from now he ain't going to be here? Mm-hmm. No matter what happened. Best case scenario, you give 7 and 10, and Pete rides into the sunset to call college football games for Fox. And we tell the listeners, not one I feel good about.
Right. Dennis Allen was mentioned.
And even that one I think is a little disingenuous. Because you still have all of the offensive systems in place from Sean Payton. Dennis Allen's just the CEO of that team. Now, you lost Aaron Glenn. He's the defensive coordinator in Detroit now. You don't love that.
I was going to say Aaron Glenn a minute ago because we have had this discussion before. I mean, we had this discussion after the Tampa Bay thing. After Bruce Arians decided to take a role in the front office and they made Todd Bowles the head coach. We had this discussion of neither one of us, if we were in charge of a franchise, would ever pick a defensive guy to be our head coach.
And I love Aaron Glenn. I've said I think he is one of my favorite coaches in this league.
But
there's no path that I would hire him.
I was going to say the question becomes, I know you love him, so you would never hire Aaron Glenn
as my defensive coordinator. I'd give him all the money he wants to be my DC. But I'm not hiring you as my head coach.
Yeah.
Because even if you come in, you get the defense on point. If the offense is even halfway cognitive, I'm going to lose that coordinator. Mm-hmm. And then I have to go right back to the well and hope I can strike lightning again. There's no point. I would rather the one piece of my franchise that I know I'm not going to lose to somebody else is the head coach. Mm-hmm. Head coaches don't go between teams. I'm not saying it hadn't happened, but go back and see why. There's usually been a reason why.
Right.
I want to get that one thing right. And there's a team in every division in this league that has gone and gotten the young guy. I feel exponentially better about them. Do you feel better right now about the New York Giants than you do any other team in that division for the long haul? Philadelphia still have a quarterback.
No.
I do.
You do?
I do.
Really?
I do. I know what the ceiling is on the Dallas Cowboys. Washington, I have no idea. From ownership down, that is a train wreck. Mm-hmm. Am I saying that it can't be fine? It can be fine. You're not a Super Bowl champion under any stretch of the imagination. The Giants are a blank slate. You could tell me that outside of the offensive line, not one player on that team that starts on offense this year will be a starter 2 years from now, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least.
I'd agree with that.
And I've got Brian Daboll to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
If he does,
and Wink Martindale to be the senior defensive guy, yeah,
and that's the perfect setup.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say Wink gets a job somewhere. Okay, I'll just find another defensive coordinator. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them that are sitting at home eating Cheetos in a beanbag chair.
But be honest with yourself, football fans. Do you ever think that day's coming? Wink Martindale has been talked about in these short list head coaching searches for what, 6 years? And it's never happened.
Nope.
And do you think it's going to happen? I don't.
No, I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
In our YouTube comments, Rob Johnson asked, is Sean McDermott a defensive coach? Technically, yes.
Mm-hmm. He was the defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. That's how he came up.
And technically, yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Take Josh Allen away. Do we even mention that team?
No.
Does that team even – are they ever mentioned on this show ever?
Not a chance. Because if they didn't have Josh Allen, they wouldn't have Stephon Diggs.
No. You get mentioned because you got the quarterback right. Mm-hmm. You get mentioned because you got the offense right. The fact that you can play defense, great. That's just – and that's where it got me to name any team in this league that you value to be really competitive, and it's solely because of how good they are defensively.
There ain't one.
There's not one.
No.
Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, we believe in Tomlin. We believe in the defense. We believe in Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they're a contender that plays great defense, but it's not just because of the defense.
And you have a former MVP playing quarterback.
Right, it's because of all the things Lamar Jackson can do, and the offense can still put up points. If you can't put up points in this league, you're obviously going to lose a lot of games. You can play great defensively all the time, but if you can't score points,
it doesn't
congratulations, you lost 16 games by, an average of 2.8 points a game.
I'm curious.
Kind of Detroit Lion-y.
Can you name the 5 teams in the NFL that gave up the fewest yards last year?
No.
Cleveland Browns were 5.
Okay. Good defense.
Didn't make the playoffs.
No.
New England Patriots were 4.
Yeah.
Got smoked in the first round of the playoffs. San Francisco was 3. Yeah, but it was. I mean, but you really look at that offense and go, well, the offense was good.
Yeah.
It was maybe a little different than most, but the offense was good.
Yeah. Step away from the Super Bowl.
Carolina was 2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then Buffalo. Top 5 offenses: Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kansas City Chiefs, LA Chargers, Buffalo Bills. Why do I feel way better about one of those lists than I do the other?
No doubt. I don't think defense is quote unquote dying.
I do.
I just feel like it's what's the end game?
Kansas City Chiefs have been the quote-unquote dynasty of the AFC for the last 5 years. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Hadn't been able to play dead in the Western 4 of those years.
For the most part.
Genuinely god-awful for 4 of those years.
Yeah.
They had Tyrann Mathieu that was just enough of a matchup problem that they could shift things around, and they had the old former coach in Steve Spagnuolo that he could put together a game plan that you're just good enough.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, I'm going to outscore you every single week.
You had some pass rushers. You were tough up front defensively with Chris Jones, and yeah.
And that's it.
Frank Clark, who wasn't even great.
Yeah, Frank Clark, man. I wish I could get paid that much more than I'm actually worth for, I don't know, an hour.
Right. But, I mean, there were the Justin Houston.
At least one person just looked at the radio and said, you do.
But there were the Justin Houston years where, you could get after a quarterback, but it was always that drawback. Your linebackers suck. Your secondary's not great. Until L'Jarius Sneed came around, that secondary was god-awful. And now I would say it's mediocre. Defense doesn't play that large of a role in winning anymore in the NFL.
You can be great defensively and largely be irrelevant. The Cincinnati Bengals just proved you cannot be great offensively and be irrelevant. Because over the course of this season, or the course of last season, they were always prodigious offensively. Defense kind of came together. I'll tell you straight up, it was never great. It was good. It was good enough. Had a vet coach coordinating it that put you in the right positions on a week-to-week basis. But other than that, I don't care how good you are defensively. It just doesn't matter.
Rob Johnson had a great comment in the YouTube stream here. NFL is getting smaller and faster now, and the defense can't keep up the entire game.
No, it's just, it's the same thing that happened with the NBA. And what's funny is this is never talked about. The NBA side of this was talked about for years. Of now with the hand check rules and different things, you cannot stop people defensively. Well, the NFL's the same way. The NFL's the same way, and it's happened right in front of us.
Quarterback rules, receiver rules,
And yet you still see bad franchises. Chicago Bears. They go, let's hire a defensive guy. Before we go into the break, we have a super chat, and we have very sad news in the second one out of Baltimore today. This is from Stephen Towle. T's and P's for the family of Jalen Ferguson, who passed away at 26. And breaking news in the last 30 minutes, Tony Saragusa, 55 years old, has passed away as well.
No way.
Very, very sad. I loved Goose as a commentator. I loved him as a player.
I did too. He was, that makes me very, very sad. So, yeah, T's and P's to all of the Baltimore Ravens fans and, well, all football fans, because Tony was a guy. He was the man. But, yeah, both of those families in our thoughts and prayers. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming up next, we'll talk some NBA draft. We will not have a show tomorrow. Braves baseball will be on here in the afternoon in our time slot, so we won't have the full preview. But Jeremy is going to try to do it from his home studio tomorrow to give you his full mock draft for the NBA draft coming up tomorrow night. But
if you like obscenities and things that may or may not work the way they're supposed to, that will be must watch for you.
We'll give you a little preview coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the numbers are high, but the humidity is not as high as it can be this time of June for us here in the Carolinas, and that's allowing our nighttime low temps to settle down nicely. We're in the mid and upper 60s here across the valley tonight. Partly cloudy Thursday, 86 degrees, and 63 for Thursday night. Chance for rain going up for Friday into the weekend as a low comes in from the Atlantic, brings some thunderstorms this weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving some ago, 26 westbound between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound delays between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Hendersonville Road, north and southbound. Traffic is stop and go between Haywood Road and Long Shoals Road. Sweden Creek Road, north and southbound in the Royal Pines area, also near Royal Pines Drive. Expect heavy delays. Near Avery Creek, Brevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road, stop and go. Again, Brevard Road northbound slow between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Here's to the great American settlers, the millions of you who settled for unsatisfying jobs because they pay the bills. Of course, there is something else you could do if you got something to say. Start a podcast with Spreaker from iHeart and unleash your creative freedom. Maybe even earn enough money to one day tell your old boss, hey, I'm no settler, I'm an explorer. Spreaker.com, Spreaker. Hustle on over today.
Hey Dad, cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
The Jack Harlow meal from KFC is here. It comes with a spicy chicken sandwich, a side of mac and cheese, KFC secret recipe fries, ranch, and an ice cold lemonade. That's finger-licking good. Order your Jack Harlow meal today on the KFC app. Prices and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
Hey, I'm Ariana. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Southwest Salad is when I take a bite, it's like, wow. I'm getting a punch from the roasted corn. I'm getting a kick from the spicy chicken. It's just great.
Hi, this is Tori. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Cobb salad is the avocado lime dressing. It adds to the chicken, the bacon, and the roasted corn. It takes the salad to a whole nother level.
Order a salad for delivery on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Just keep your eye on the ball. At Ingles, we know that big dreams don't always make it to the big leagues. But we also know that baseball, it's family. It's about building character. And as sure as there'll be some stumbles on that journey from first to home, we'll be right there, cheering you on. This is baseball. And this is who we are. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
The Sportsocracy.
Gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
The NBA draft coming up tomorrow night. It is all going to go down. This is, it's the day where fortunes are made, dreams come true. The NBA draft, and it all starts with the Orlando Magic at number 1. And, I mean, is there even a discussion anymore as to who's going number 1?
There's not to me. I don't think there's any path that the first 3 picks don't go exactly how I've had them laid out for a month.
Yeah, Jabari Smith. He's an amazing cat. I will say that. The kid out of Auburn, he was freshman this past year and just took over college basketball. 40+% 3-point shooter.
Well, I mean, he's the only one that can shoot.
Long. Yeah.
And you look at the way Orlando is built. As soon as they won the number 1 overall pick, it became pretty obvious of how this was going to go. Now, the question was Orlando going to try to move down and still get the player they wanted? Because Houston and Oklahoma City knew who they wanted. Mm-hmm. Well, they got no traction there. So they're going to sit at 1, and they will take Jabari Smith.
So Oklahoma City picks 2nd.
They will have a Chet Holmgren card in probably before Jabari Smith's off the stage.
Why are they so in love with this beanpole? I can't. I mean, I get it. He's got a decent game. He's a pretty decent shooter for.
He's the best player in this draft, and it's not all that close.
Are you serious?
No doubt. He's the best player in this draft. It's not even close.
I like Jabari better.
I don't really understand why. I mean, and I'm not trying to shade the kid by any stretch of the imagination. Mm-hmm. You asked why does Oklahoma City like him so much? Because he fits what they do so well. He is a stretch 5. They played a slew of weird, limited, veteran-ishy guys in the front court last year, and this solidifies one spot for the long haul. Mm-hmm. That's who they've been tied to. I've been told that's who they would have taken had they got the number 1 pick. It didn't matter. If he was on the board, that was the pick, and that's where he wants to go.
But Chet Holmgren, I mean, I don't know. There's just something about his game that
You're worrying way too much about him being skinny.
And I mean, yes, that's a knock that I have on him. And if you're 7'1" and weigh 120 pounds, that's a problem.
He weighs more than that. He's not John Butler skinny. I can promise you that.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to see him becoming a thing in the NBA, like a multiple-year All-Star, maybe in an MVP discussion at some point in his career. To me, there are 2 guys in the top 3 that can be in those discussions. Chet Holmgren just ain't one of them.
Yeah, and see, I vehemently disagree with you on this.
All right.
See, to me, there is only one that, and I don't think he has that kind of upside. I think he can be a couple-time All-Star, really good player that's never great.
Yeah, he's a hell of a shot changer, and he can shoot the ball as well. So I get why people like him. I mean,
the other 2 just terrify me. Straight up, they terrify me.
Okay. What is it about Jabari that scares you?
In his 1 year in college, he was just so much more than I thought he was going to be. And I think there's a multitude of reasons why that happened, and I'm not so sure how they train. He's going to be a good shooter in the league. Mm-hmm. I have no fear of that. Mm-hmm. I'm also not 100% sure what position he plays. But I think he fits better as a stretch 4.
Yes.
But the body type, and I mean, a big guy will kill him. You get somebody that'll take him down low, he will get demolished in this league. Mm-hmm. And that's always, I had a wise old NBA scout tell me one time, if you can't compare them to a player that's been really successful in this league, they probably won't be.
Okay.
Kristaps Porzingis. That was the one that was attached to. Have you ever seen a player that did that? Nope. There's a reason.
Number 3 pick belongs to the Houston Rockets, and they're going to go more likely than not with Paolo Banchero.
There's no doubt. It is exactly how those 3 will go. It is so likely that you can't even get the trifecta of the 3 of them together.
Really?
Going in that
order.
You cannot wager it. You can wager other triplets like that.
Right.
But not that one.
Huh.
Because that's exactly what's going to happen. Right. Now, Banchero, I do like him. There are 2 things that scare me about him. I've always said that name me the Duke player that went to the NBA and got better. Mm-hmm. K just always got the most out of him. So you saw the high side. And he was not always a willing finisher. There were times that you would see open looks that he would bypass and make the extra pass. And we're at a point in this league that's really not a positive anymore. Now, you don't want to see the guy that's just, jacking up 27-footers, but you also don't want somebody that's passive offensively, and he scares me about that a little bit. But to me, those are clearly the 3 best players in terms of upside. Jabari and Paolo are just the two that have a floor that scares me a little more.
The real question in the NBA draft coming up tomorrow night is what's going to happen at number 4?
Oh, it's going to be so fun. And after Weird News, I'll tell you why it's going to be fun, because there is a great standoff happening. I can't wait for it to be on the clock.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, my weird story today is going to be more of a sarcastic weird. Like, weird that happened. Which we all know, of course it was going to happen. Story on Vice News website today about the COVID-19 tracker in China. So they've been using these QR codes to track people's movements and track whether you're around somebody that's been exposed to COVID-19. And if you've tested positive, you have this little code on your phone that you have to scan when you're going to go out into public or get on public transportation. And the codes will turn colors depending on whether you've been around somebody. They use the geo-tracking on your phone to know and track all the things of where you're at, which, some people would say, hey, that's a great idea. Let's stem the spread of disease by knowing who's been where and whether they can go out in public. Anybody like to take a guess what the Chinese government is now doing with that technology?
Nefarious things.
Nefarious things is right. So there's been some bank issues in China. Rural banks not letting people get their money and things like that. And so that has sparked protests all over the place. Chinese government, they're not cool with dissent. They're not cool with mass protests and things. So they, shockingly enough, when they found out and identified certain people who could be protesting, maybe they posted on social media that they were going to go to a protest, maybe they're linked to these certain groups. What happened to their COVID-19 QR code when it got right before the protest was scheduled? It turned red, which in China, if you don't obey those rules, you go to prison. And Chinese prisons aren't anywhere you want to be. So guess what? All these protesters, some 200 protesters have reported that just before the protest was scheduled, their QR codes turned red, which meant they are banned from going out in public. They have to be in their homes and cannot leave their homes. And weird that an obtrusive government would want to, squelch any uprising or protest. And people called for that here in America. Why aren't we doing this here? You honestly think, and this is not a political statement by any stretch. It's it's not D's or R's. I don't care. I'm not giving the government that power over me. Because this is exactly what can happen. And it's exactly what would happen, I will say, under any administration, if you give them this kind of access.
I'm a bad week from just moving into the woods and burying my money in mayonnaise jars, so I'm probably not the right person to ask this.
Again, like I said, weird that happened.
I am dumbfounded that anybody thought this was a good idea. If you're watching us on YouTube, I am about to give you a visual for this story. French's is a condiment company that many of you know and love. They make, without a doubt, the best mustard. I was yesterday years old when I found out they make ketchup. Well,
you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Really?
French's makes mustard.
It's only the fanciest of ketchup.
It's Heinz and Hunt's. I don't care which one you go with. Both are acceptable, but those are the ketchup brands, and Duke's is the mayonnaise brand.
Yeah.
That's it. There are no other choices.
He tells no lies.
There is now a French's choice, and it is without a doubt the grossest thing I've ever heard in my life. They have come out with a ketchup popsicle that they call refreshingly savory and sweet ketchup-y popsicle.
Not true.
Are there any two grosser words you could put together in the English language than ketchup popsicle?
Yes, mustard cupcake.
Out. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's not as gross as this.
Really?
That's at least a cupcake. I mean, look, cupcakes have cream cheese icing, which is weird to me. I can stomach that.
What if
this is a ketchup popsicle?
Well, if it was hot dog flavored cake and mustard.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, and
that's
mustard icing.
Yeah, that's bad. Don't do anything with hot dogs. Like, hot dog is never the right call.
Right.
I want to know how anyone said this out loud, and they got universal agreement.
I mean, I thought the same thing when I don't remember who was the first to do it, but I mean, Lay's and I think Kerr's and a bunch of them chip companies, they've had ketchup-flavored potato chips for a long time.
Ketchup potato chips is fine.
Yeah,
that's a potato with ketchup on it. This is frozen condiment popsicle.
You're not wrong. And what's funny to me is that it took so long for this to happen. How many times have you heard someone, Jeremy, I've heard you say this ad nauseum about your sales ability, that you could sell ketchup popsicles to Eskimos wearing white gloves or whatever.
I have uttered that phrase at one point in my life.
And now finally French's has done it.
And here's the thing, French's, don't call that number that's on the website. It's disconnected because I am not trying to sell this.
No, not at all. Ketchup popsicles, gross.
I have a funny feeling that our social media question, our 12 bones question for tomorrow is ketchup popsicle the grossest combination? And if you come up with one worse, you're probably just the winner. I have been literally repulsed by this.
Is that going to be our qualifier for the weekly 12 bones drawing?
Well,
since we don't have a show tomorrow?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
For tomorrow. It'll be up on the social medias.
All right, that'll be our qualifier.
I mean, that picture's been on my screen for like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's awful.
And I love I put ketchup on everything. I put ketchup on steak. I love ketchup.
A1, where you at? Give me a A1 ice cream flavor.
A1.
Oh.
Not nearly as bad. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you.
No.
I can see a path that I could eat an A1.
Now,
ice cream.
would you dip your ketchup popsicle into your A1 ice cream and make what do you call
fancy sauce?
Fancy sauce.
A1 and ketchup is fancy sauce.
Hey, that's frozen fanciness.
That's the greatest sauce you can possibly put on a steak. And you know what? Before you tell me I'm crazy, try it. HWA said the same thing. Guess what she does now when we make steaks?
Oh, she does?
Fancy sauce.
All right. Have you at least tried my A1 ranch combination?
No, out.
Come on.
Stop putting ranch in things.
Ranch
is
on
fine
everything.
by itself. It does not need to be mixed with anything else.
Hidden Valley, here you go. Ranch flavored ice cream. Let's see it.
They do. Have you seen this? There's I can't remember the name of the ice cream company, but they're coming out with all these weird ice cream. Like they have Grey Poupon ice cream. Who is eating that? And macaroni and cheese?
People that hate themselves.
Oh.
I saw one today that one of our mutual friends posted, and it was honey cornbread with strawberry jam ice cream. Said it was a weird combination, but it was actually really good.
Is it like the cornbread that you get at El Que Pasa right down here from Radio Ranch? Because
they have cornbread.
Yeah, and it's
at the Hispanic restaurant.
And they do, and it's not. It's just a little dollop. It's my favorite part of every dish.
Really?
I had lunch there with the Angry News No Mark Starling the other day.
All right.
I've been thinking about that cornbread ever since.
That's a new one for me. Yeah, ketchup popsicles. You can consider me out on that one. I will not be trying that. Actually, that sounds like a torture ticket for the upcoming football season.
Oh, we're already
popsicles.
There. We're already there.
Yep.
Tyler Cunningham in our in our YouTube comment said fish sticks and mustard. You lost me at fish stick. I don't care what you could put $100 bill on a fish stick. I'm still out.
That's already happening. That's already a torture ticket for this upcoming year.
You know what that tells me? I need to not lose.
Well, you know, if last year's contest is any indication of how this year's going to go, I feel pretty good about it. I did win the Pick'em contest last year. Just to throw that out for everybody.
Yeah, just saying. Man, David Zach won it the year before, and he finished last.
This is very true.
Which means it's probably your year to finish last.
Yeah, it is. It is cyclical. Thank God we're not doing a tattoo challenge for that one.
Oh, we are doing a tattoo league though.
You are going to do 100%. A tattoo football league.
100%, no doubt. 100%, no doubt. If you want in it, social media.
Yeah.
Hit me up on Twitter at ESPN Draft Nerd. However you want to get to me. And we are going to have just a great deal of fun with that.
8 o'clock tomorrow night on ABC and ESPN. It is the NBA draft for 2022. We've already talked about the first 3 picks. There's really no chance that it doesn't go. Orlando Magic takes Jabari Smith at 1. Oklahoma City goes Chet Holmgren at 2. And then Paolo Banchero of the Duke Blue Devils goes at 3 to the Houston Rockets. Now, the interesting thing is what's happening at 4. Because the Sacramento Kings, they got their eyes on a player, but that player has his eyes on everybody but the Sacramento Kings, which I can't blame him for.
They have called every team from their pick at 4 through the lottery, and no one will blink.
Mm-hmm.
So they want Jaden Ivey, the guard out of Purdue.
As they should.
And he wants less to do with them than I do with a ketchup popsicle.
Respect.
The Sacramento Kings are Jaden Ivey's ketchup popsicle. And from everything I've been told, if they make this pick, that's who they're going to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And see if he blinks. Which, I don't understand why you would do that. First of all, you already have 2 guards and virtually nothing else.
Yep.
So, that doesn't make just a ton of sense to me. But I've always wondered this about NBA teams, and they seem to do this more often than anybody else. When a player tells you, I'm good, move on.
Right.
There are 8 players that I would rank reasonably close. If I'm them, I would take Keegan Murray.
That's what I was thinking.
I would take Keegan Murray and just say, all right, you don't want to play for us? Go hang out in Detroit.
Right.
Enjoy it.
Because as you said.
You and Cade Cunningham and Sadiq Bey.
Right. Because as you said, we've got guards. Sacramento's got guards. You got De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell. You don't need another guard. You don't need a point guard. I get Jaden Ivey. I love the talent in the kid as well. But move on. Get a big guy.
Yeah, Keegan Murray would be the one I would go with. If you're a Charlotte Hornets fan, your hope is that Mark Williams falls to you at 13. Because you don't have to take him at 13. You can let him fall to 15. Cleveland will, for very obvious reasons, not be taking him.
Mm-hmm.
But A.J. Griffin is the name to watch with Charlotte that I've heard a lot in the last, 48, 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said Mark Williams is one of those players that seems to have a promise. I just don't know from who.
Yeah.
And none of them make a ton of sense.
I have seen several mock drafts, and I'm not saying this is inside information. I'm just saying this is a commonality that I have seen. Him going
Washington.
at 9. I've seen him going at 9 to the San Antonio Spurs a lot.
I would struggle to believe that. There is, from what I've heard, San Antonio has a promise, but it's to Shaedon Sharpe.
Okay.
So what San Antonio always does is they find a way to take the player that falls in their lap. That's the player that is more talented than where he's going to go. And all of that makes sense. Mark Williams, the one that would scare me if I was Charlotte, is Washington. They've just been linked together so many times that it tells me there's probably some smoke to that.
Okay.
And they have a lot of guards.
Again, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, 2022 NBA Draft. The top 3 pretty locked. Can't wait to see what the Charlotte Hornets can do. Will they keep both of their picks at 13 and 15? Will they trade one of the picks away?
They've tried to trade. There's no traction. This is one of those drafts where you see the 3 that everybody knows they can't get to because they're not taking calls at this point. Orlando was willing to trade down, but only if they could still get Jabari Smith. Oklahoma City's been deadlocked on Holmgren, and Houston wants one of the big guys. That's why they traded Christian Wood to pair with Sengun, the first-round pick from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, there's nobody that anybody's in love with. I think a lot of teams really like Jaden Ivey, but they're not willing to come up to get him. Sacramento, I can tell you this definitively, they offered 4 for Jordan Poole, and the Warriors told them to fly a kite in a thunderstorm with metal attached to it.
We've talked about one of the grossest things I think I've ever heard of.
Ketchup popsicles.
Ketchup popsicles in this past segment. That is definitely not something that I want to chew on. I will say this, though. If the French's ketchup popsicle takes off, gains some steam, you could probably get it at your local Ingles supermarket. Low prices, love the savings. It's time for something to chew on, hopefully a lot better than a ketchup popsicle. Here's Caleb Peak.
I mean, I haven't given it that much thought.
Really?
I don't understand. I'm trying to focus on the U.S. Open, man. Like, I legitimately don't get it. I'm tired of the conversations. I'm tired of all this stuff. Y'all, like I said, y'all are throwing a black cloud on the U.S. Open. I think that sucks. I actually do feel bad for him for once.
Right.
Because it's a situation. Like, we're here to play, and you're talking about some event that happened last week.
Well, there's events going to be going on now for the next foreseeable future.
I know, but you can't drive a car looking in the rearview mirror, can you?
And now, with the benefit of only a few days' worth of hindsight, it's clear that these reporters weren't looking in the rearview mirror at all. They were only reading the writing on the wall. This is Chew on That, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. I'm Caleb Peak. That was former PGA Tour member Brooks Koepka scolding the assembled media just prior to the start of last week's U.S. Open in Brookline, Massachusetts, for simply doing their jobs. And now that the news is out that Koepka is joining Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, and his younger brother Chase on the Saudi Arabian-backed LIV Golf Tour, it's clear to see why he didn't want to talk about it. Since word first got out back in March about an upstart foreign professional tour whose main goal would be to scalp as much attention and revenue from the PGA as humanly possible, Brooks was, to quote the New York Times sports writer Bill Pennington, disdainful about the whole thing. At least in front of cameras and his fellow clubmen, Koepka wouldn't even entertain the thought of defecting from the association built by Nicklaus, Palmer, and Woods, even as recently as 2 weeks ago. But the more you juxtapose the two organizations, one with 93 years of storied history, the other boasting 3 months of chaotic piracy funded through the coffers of a murderous regime, it's pretty obvious what lured Brooksy away from the tour that made him a former world number one. The PGA Tour rewards winning. LIV Golf rewards showing up. And for the last couple of years, showing up is basically all Brooks Koepka has done. Sure, Koepka burst onto the scene claiming 4 major championships between 2017 and 2019. He won back-to-back U.S. Opens in 2017 and 18 and back-to-back PGA championships in 2018 and 19. The first golfer ever to hold 2 back-to-back titles in 2 different majors at the same time. At the height of his success, Koepka was the world's top-ranked golfer, climbing to the top of the rankings in October 2018. He, along with 3 others, were 1 stroke back from Tiger at the 2019 Masters, when Woods came back from the dead to win his 5th green jacket. But Brooks has also been a magnet for misfortune when it comes to bad luck with his body. A torn tendon in his left wrist in 2017 after his breakout performance at the U.S. Open cost him 15 weeks of playing time. In 2019, it was a partially torn patella tendon, which led to a torn labrum in the hip, costing him 3 months' worth of competition. That knee kept giving him trouble all the way through the end of 2021. And even though he's supposedly healthy in 2022, his average finish has put his hopes of remaining relevant on life support. Why does this matter? Because in LIV Golf, there's no cut line. There is no moving day. If you start the tournament, you're guaranteed to take home a significant chunk of cash, whether you're a contender or a pretender. For Koepka, who didn't crack the top 50 at either the U.S. Open or the PGA Championship and missed the cut entirely at the Masters, LIV Golf is a guaranteed payout paradise, compared to a PGA Tour that's only getting younger, more talented, and more competitive. And with less viable competition in the LIV Golf field comes the prospect of an absolute financial windfall should Koepka somehow get back to his winning ways. Again, let's compare. The U.S. Open, one of the 4 majors and a premier golf event for the PGA, forked over $3.15 million to 27-year-old Matt Fitzpatrick last Sunday, who finished 6 under par to win his first ever major title. Contrast that with LIV Golf's next event, June 30th through July 2nd, at Pumpkin Ridge Golf Club in North Plains, Oregon. Never heard of it? Neither had I. But the top finisher at this event will take home a cool $4 million, $750,000 more than U.S. Open champion Matt Fitzpatrick. And get this, LIV Golf players are divided up into various foursomes. So if your team has the lowest collective score, each member takes home an additional $750,000 on top of their individual winnings. So do the math. If the tournament winner is part of a team that also cleans up, the total payout could equal $4,750,000 at an event that's anything but major. For Brooks Koepka, it's got to be tough to be a former world great turned sideshow. Instead of being known for hoisting trophies, he'll be best remembered in the PGA for, to be fair, one of the greatest eye rolls I've ever seen, directed toward Bryson DeChambeau. It's come out recently that Phil Mickelson, once regarded as one of the golf world's nicest guys, was a real snake in the grass personality-wise. The persona he assumed for the fans of the cameras was a total fabrication, and it didn't hold up behind the scenes in the clubhouse. Turns out for Brooks Koepka, even his fellow golfers didn't truly know who he was. Either way, in September 2021, Brooks Koepka told Golf Digest this: "In my mind, I'm going to catch Tiger Woods on majors." Let's all laugh together. I'm Caleb Peak. That's something to chew on.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound, stop and go between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound delays between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. On Hendersonville Road, north and southbound, traffic is stop and go between Haywood Road and Long Shoals Road. Sweden Creek Road, northbound, approaching Mills Gap Road, very busy. On Brevard Road, northbound, near Avery Creek, traffic is stop and go between Ledbetter Road and Long Shoals Road. Again, Brevard Road, northbound, is stop and go, approaching Clayton Road and continuing to the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Hey, Dad? Cool if I change this?
They may not get each other's music, but they can both get a COVID-19 booster shot. Because the CDC recommends booster shots for people 12 years and older after completion of a primary series. Schedule an appointment as soon as you are eligible. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Hey, I'm Ariana. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Southwest Salad is when I take a bite, it's like, wow. I'm getting a punch from the roasted corn. I'm getting a kick from the spicy chicken. It's just great.
Hi, this is Tori. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Cobb salad is the avocado lime dressing. It adds to the chicken, the bacon, and the roasted corn. It takes the salad to a whole nother level.
Order a salad for delivery on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
It's a can't-miss summer on Today. This week, hot fashion trends, from bestsellers to big events. And Jill Martin has the summer steals and deals you need. Plus, Kim Kardashian, Julie Andrews, and a concert with pop star Conan Gray. Watch the Today Show every morning on NBC.
Progressive presents Married to Your Home.
I'm such a screw-up.
What? House? Why would you talk like that?
How are you even with a house without a walk-in closet?
Stop. You have more than enough storage.
Oh yeah, and the unfinished basement. Gross.
We'll finish it eventually. Together.
No matter how much you already love your house, you'll love it more knowing you could save big bundling your home and auto with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Man, it's been rough news the last few days, and unfortunately, we got more. But before we hit you with some bad news, let me hit you with some good news here. I got on my scale this morning, and it said 219 pounds. I am just going crazy over the PhD weight loss program because the pounds continue to fall off. We've been on this program since just before Thanksgiving, and I have lost over 70 pounds. I walked in at 295. And today, to have my scale look at me and say below 220 pounds, it is absolutely blowing my mind.
Tank is quickly approaching light heavyweight status in the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to exactly where I want to be. One of my biggest problems was that I couldn't sleep. I'd gotten so heavy, sleep apnea was wearing on me. And now with the weight that I've lost, I'm back to my high school weight. I'm walking golf courses, which is still dumbfounding to me, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the plan and the food at PhD Weight Loss.
Nutrition is the key to shedding fat loss. Losing that fat weight, 80% of the work comes from changing your nutrition, and PhD has the plan to do it for you, thanks to their all-star Dr. Ashley Lucas. Go to myphdweightloss.com today. Find out how they can help you, and they will. myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans. More sad news from the sports world. We've lost another one. And, we told you earlier today about Tony Siragusa passing away. We had Jalen Ferguson pass. Yesterday it was Caleb Swanigan, the former first-round draft pick in the NBA. And today, at 95 years old, Bruton Smith, the guy who has changed NASCAR almost more than anybody else in the sport's history, running, of course, Speedway Motorsports at Bristol and Atlanta and Charlotte, passed away today at the age of 95. Unbelievable. I mean, not unbelievable, but, it's just
very sad news.
Yeah, bad news after bad news after bad news.
We officially have a winner for our 12 Bones Brewery and Smokehouse comment of the day. It's Clarence Engel. On our social media page, said Jim Brown, and gave a very thought-out response as to why. A, that's a good answer. B, proves you were listening. So, Clarence Engel, congratulations. We will draw that winner on Friday.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We will not have a show tomorrow afternoon. Braves Day Baseball will be on here in our slot. Look for Jeremy's mock draft of the NBA coming out at some point tomorrow, as he will be cutting that from his home studio.
And the live of the NBA draft if everything works.
Don't forget to like, share, follow, all those things on the YouTube stream. We will see you back here on Friday.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the numbers are high, but the humidity is not as high as it can be this time of June for us here in the Carolinas, and that's allowing our nighttime low temps to settle down nicely. We're in the mid and upper 60s here across the valley tonight. Partly cloudy Thursday, 86 degrees, and 63 for Thursday night. Chance for rain going up for Friday into the weekend as a low comes in from the Atlantic, bringing some thunderstorms this weekend. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound stop and go between Fanning Bridge Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound delays between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. On Hendersonville Road, north and southbound traffic is stop and go between Haywood Road and Long Shoals Road. Sweeten Creek Road northbound approaching Mills Gap Road, very busy. On Brevard Road northbound near Avery Creek, traffic is stop and go between Ledbetter Road and Long Shoals Road. Again, Brevard Road northbound is stop and go approaching Clayton Road and continuing to the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.